My name is Olivia Turner. After graduating from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, I worked at an IT company in New York, but now I'm 9 months pregnant. I married my husband Michael 3 years ago, and we live in a quiet residential area of Greenwich, Connecticut. Our home is a white colonial-style 2-story house. Sitting on approximately 5,000 square feet of land, this house was chosen by Michael when we got married. The spacious garden is now in full bloom with colorful flowers this season. Thanks to regular maintenance by professional landscapers, our garden has quite a reputation in the neighborhood. We sometimes host garden parties with our neighbors on weekends. When I became pregnant, I transitioned to working from home from my New York IT company. As an online shop product manager, I work from home while preparing for the baby's arrival. My daily routine includes organizing groceries delivered by Amazon Fresh in the baby's room furnished with restoration hardware baby pieces, wearing maternity dresses from Gap and Target. I had been posting on social media every time baby items arrived. My husband Michael, after graduating from Princeton University, works as a vice president at a real estate development company in Manhattan. Dressed in Brooks Brothers suits, commuting 45 minutes daily on Metro-North Railroad, he's like a symbol of the American dream. Though busy with work, he's a caring husband who always spends holidays with me. My mother-in-law Eleanor is a gentle and wise woman who leads local charity activities. One of my pleasures was chatting about childbirth and childcare while enjoying her homemade apple pie in her house furnished with Pottery Barn pieces. She treats me like her own daughter, calling or messaging me 2 to 3 times a week. She's even offered to help after the baby is born. On the other hand, my mother Patricia, a housewife, constantly worries about others' opinions and interferes with my married life. She particularly seems displeased with my close relationship with Eleanor. Recently, she's started making sarcastic comments about my luxurious lifestyle every time we talk on the phone. And then there's my sister Vanessa. She runs a beauty salon, but lately business hasn't been good, and she's apparently in debt. It's obvious she's jealous of my married life, and she never sincerely congratulated me on my pregnancy. When we occasionally meet, she throws pointed remarks like, "You only think about your baby, don't you ever think about your family?" In the midst of all this, Tom, our Amazon delivery man, has become my saving grace. He's a veteran and father of 3 children. He's been handling the same delivery route for 2 years in the latest Amazon van and has been recognized as an outstanding delivery person. He's been especially considerate since learning about my pregnancy, carrying heavy packages inside the house. Appearing in his clean uniform, he's like my guardian angel. Every morning, after shopping for organic groceries at Whole Foods Market, I start work while sipping decaf coffee from Starbucks. I prepare healthy meals in the kitchen with its sub-zero refrigerator, occasionally talking to my baby. Such peaceful daily routines. Though Michael often comes home late, every time he returns, he gently places his hand on my belly and talks to the baby. My regular checkups at Greenwich Hospital have been going well, with the obstetrician praising me as an ideal expectant mother. One morning, as my body was getting heavier, I was relaxing in a windowside armchair, gazing at such peaceful scenery. I had just finished putting away organic vegetables bought first thing in the morning from Whole Foods Market and was finally taking a breather. Just after 10 a.m., the doorbell suddenly rang. Looking through the peephole, I saw my mother and Vanessa. Though hesitant, Feeling guilty about ignoring their calls for several weeks, I opened the door. "We've come to help," my mother said as she and Vanessa entered the living room. Mother clutching her luxury brand bag and Vanessa with her flashy makeup. Their eyes appraisingly scanning the coffee table stacked with restoration hardware baby catalogs. I felt the atmosphere instantly grow heavy. "Oh, isn't this sofa the new one from Pottery Barn? Did Eleanor buy it for you?" Mother's sarcastic voice echoes. The expensive sofa had indeed been a baby shower gift from my mother-in-law. Before I could respond, I was suddenly struck by intense pain. As I clutched my stomach, Mother and Vanessa watched me with cold eyes. Their gaze sent a chill down my spine. "Last night, Michael had said, 'I have an important meeting tomorrow, so if anything happens, contact me through my secretary. But this pain isn't normal. I need to call Michael.'" As I reached for my smartphone, Vanessa knocked my arm away. The phone fell onto the marble side table, its screen cracking. "The baby isn't due yet, right? So you can at least make us lunch." Ignoring me as I grimaced in pain at Mother's words, Vanessa added fuel to the fire. "You're being dramatic again. We're hungry too. You're always depending on your precious mother-in-law, never thinking about your real family, are you?" The intervals between what seemed to be contractions were getting shorter and shorter. Though the Sub-Zero refrigerator was stocked with ingredients, I couldn't even stand up. Sweat broke out, and my breathing became irregular. The gentle fragrance from the newly purchased humidifier for the baby made the space feel strangely poignant. "Please, call an ambulance." To my desperate plea, Mother showed an exasperated expression. "Oh, you're feeling that bad? But an ambulance is a bit, what would the neighbors say? What would the ladies in this area think?" Mother picked up my smartphone and ignored incoming calls from Michael. The screen displayed a message saying, "An important meeting." Beside her, Vanessa started taking selfies, claiming they were for promoting her newly opened beauty salon, using my suffering as a background for her photos. I lay on the large Pottery Barn sofa in the living room. Cold sweat soaking into the expensive fabric. The contractions were getting even closer, now just minutes apart. Outside the window, I could see neighborhood ladies chatting happily. That peaceful scene was so contrasting with my current situation that tears welled up. "That's enough of your act." Suddenly, Vanessa approached and kicked my stomach. The tip of her heel caused a piercing pain. "Stop, the baby." Ignoring my screams, Vanessa's kicks continued. Mother just watched the scene with cold eyes. Our wedding photo hanging on the wall, the happy smiles with Michael and Eleanor, made my current situation feel even more painful. "It's because you always manipulate people with your acting that Vanessa gets angry. At your age, is that all you can do?" Mother's words seemed to come from far away. I was starting to lose consciousness. I could see the baby's organic cotton blanket scattered miserably on the floor. "Please, an ambulance." My pleading only provoked more violence from Vanessa. "Shut up. Think about my debts too." Another kick sent intense pain through my entire body. I could feel the baby moving desperately inside me. At that moment, the doorbell rang. The 2 p.m. regular delivery. I could hear Tom's familiar voice. As Mother and Vanessa showed panicked expressions, I felt a faint hope while losing consciousness. Noticing the unusual sounds and screams, Tom immediately assessed the situation. He called 911, requesting police and an ambulance. As I heard the Greenwich EMS sirens approaching, my consciousness was completely enveloped in darkness. The last thing I saw was Tom desperately trying to help me, and his dignified profile as he stopped Mother and Vanessa from trying to escape in panic. The irony of Mother, who had been so concerned about neighborhood gossip, now exposed to the gaze of strangers. I could see Vanessa's flashy makeup smearing with tears. When I regained consciousness, my eyes were met with the white ceiling of Greenwich Hospital's emergency center. Amidst the bright fluorescent lights, I could hear medical staff moving quickly around me. The regular beeping of the heart monitor and the dripping sound of the 4 oddly calmed my heart. "Mrs. Turner, are you conscious?" I nodded faintly to what seemed to be a veteran emergency physician's voice. Immediately, intense pain struck me. The monitor's warning sounds began. Medical staff voices flew back and forth. Beside them, Tom was explaining the situation to the EMTs. His uniform was stained with my blood. The 2 female suspects are in police custody. The victim's husband and mother-in-law have been contacted. She's 36 weeks pregnant, and I understand her progress had been normal until now. Tom's calm voice seemed to come from far away. The EMT quickly took notes on the chart. "We found her Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance card in her wallet." At the nurse's voice, administrative staff immediately began processing. The wheels of the American medical system began turning efficiently. The emergency department's automatic doors opened, and Michael rushed in, his face pale with worry. His Brooks Brothers suit was disheveled, and his usually neat hair was in disarray. He had apparently taken a taxi from the Metro North station to the hospital. "Olivia." Michael's voice. But I had no strength to respond. Between contractions and pain, I was about to lose consciousness. The heart monitor's alarm began sounding urgently again. Then Eleanor appeared gracefully. Seeing her, who also served as a hospital trustee through her charity work, the staff's movements became even more precise. "So you're the mother of the people who hurt my precious daughter." Eleanor's dignified voice was directed at my mother, who was in police custody. Faced with Eleanor's commanding presence in her luxury brand suit, my mother, for the first time, hung her head in silence. "Mrs. Turner, we need to start surgery immediately to save the baby. There's likely placental abruption, and we don't have a moment to spare." The head of obstetrics looked me firmly in the eyes as he explained. On the way to the operating room, I gripped Michael's hand tightly. "The baby, please." The white operating room. The surgical lights were bright. Around the operating table, more than 10 staff members were already in position. I felt the anesthesiologist insert a needle into my vein. And then consciousness faded away again. Outside the operating room, Michael stood supported by Eleanor, waiting as if in prayer. In his hand was a small teddy bear he had bought just days ago. An officer dispatched from Greenwich Police Department was taking detailed statements from them. The suspects, Patricia Wilson and Vanessa Wilson, the victim's mother and sister, are already being questioned at the station. We've also secured footage from the security cameras at the scene. According to the sister's statement, financial troubles were one of the motives. She apparently had debts from her failing beauty salon business. On the waiting room TV, local breaking news was playing. Assault in Greenwich luxury residential area. Pregnant woman seriously injured. Amazon delivery driver rescues victim. Victim is real estate development company executive's wife. Below ran a caption: suspects are victim's biological mother and sister. Eleanor quietly said a prayer. Beside her, Tom also stared intently at the operating room door. Though his uniform was stained with blood, his dignified presence remained unchanged. He had stayed here, even changing his delivery route. My wife and child, why would her own mother and sister? Michael's voice trembled. For the first time, this usually calm man showed tears. His cell phone, which he had cancelled an important investor meeting to rush here, kept ringing. It's all right, Olivia is strong. This hospital has the best medical team. Eleanor gently embraced his shoulders. Her words slightly eased the tension in the waiting room. And after a long 3 hours, the operating room doors opened. The head of obstetrics approached, removing his surgical mask with a smile. Congratulations. It's a girl. The APGAR score is fine. The waiting room erupted in joy at the doctor's smile. When a nurse passed by pushing the newborn incubator, Michael instinctively stood up. And Mrs. Turner is stable. We've controlled the bleeding, and she'll be moved to a room soon. Your wife's strong will and early detection saved her life. As sighs of relief escaped, the police officer quietly continued his report. From the suspect's statements, we've determined this was a premeditated crime. The trigger appears to have been Vanessa Wilson's beauty salon debts. The security cameras also recorded the two discussing in their car before visiting. Michael was trembling with anger, but Eleanor quietly advised him. Right now, let's think only about Olivia and the baby. We'll leave the legal response to my lawyer friend. At that moment, Tom approached modestly. Congratulations on your child's birth. I need to get back to work, my deliveries are running late. Michael embraced his shoulder. You are our benefactor. We will never forget this debt. Your judgment saved my family's lives. A few hours later, I was holding my child in the hospital room. The warmth of this tiny life gradually healed the terror of today. The sunset gently streamed into the pure white room. Looking at Eleanor's gently smiling profile, overlapping it with my mother's image, I quietly shed tears. At the Connecticut Superior Court. The heavy wooden doors opened, and Michael, Eleanor, and I entered. On the bench sat Judge Hamilton, with 30 years of experience. He was reviewing documents with a stern expression. On the prosecution side was Sarah Johnson, a sharp prosecutor from the Greenwich District Attorney's Office. On the defense side, court-appointed attorneys represented my mother and Vanessa. All rise. The Superior Court of Connecticut, 1st District, Judge Hamilton presiding, is now in session. The clerk's voice echoed. Local media reporters packed the courtroom. This case had attracted significant attention as the pregnant woman assault case. In my arms, 2-month-old Emma softly breathed in her sleep. The prosecution may begin its opening statement. At Judge Hamilton's voice, Prosecutor Sarah stood. This case is not merely domestic violence. It was a premeditated and extremely malicious crime. The prosecutor's strong voice resonated through the courtroom. The defendants Patricia Wilson and Vanessa Wilson planned this crime in advance. Security cameras recorded them discussing in their car before arriving at the scene. As the security camera footage played on the screen, showing my mother and Vanessa talking in the car, my heart ached. Furthermore, a message was found on defendant Vanessa Wilson's phone saying, "Today we'll teach her a lesson." The recipient was her mother, the co-defendant. The prosecutor continued presenting evidence. Proof of their premeditated crime became increasingly clear. And decisively, there's this footage from the Amazon delivery driver's body camera. The screen showed footage from Tom's camera. He had maintained the habit of wearing a body camera from his military days. The footage clearly showed my mother and Vanessa threatening me, and the moment they assaulted me. As the courtroom fell silent, I instinctively closed my eyes. Michael gripped my hand tightly. "We'll now move to witness testimony." Tom took the stand as the first witness, wearing a navy suit instead of his usual delivery uniform. "Please explain in detail the situation when you arrived at the scene." "Yes. When I arrived for my regular delivery time, I heard unusual noises from inside the house. And then, Mrs. Turner's screams." As Tom testified calmly, my mother and Vanessa kept their heads down. The next witness was Sandra Parker, a neighbor. "That day, I was tending to my garden. Before Mrs. Wilson and her daughter visited, I saw them arguing in their car. And when I heard screams from the house." The head of obstetrics from Greenwich Hospital also took the stand as a medical expert. "Mrs. Turner and the fetus were in an extremely dangerous condition. Without early detection, we could have faced the worst outcome." Then it was my turn. "Please approach the witness stand." Leaving the baby with Michael, I slowly approached the stand. "Please tell us about that day." Encouraged by the prosecutor's gentle voice, I began speaking. Though tears welled up at times, supported by Eleanor's encouraging gaze, I managed to complete my testimony. During the defense's cross-examination, my mother's attorney tried to emphasize economic hardship, but was blocked by the prosecutor's objection. Vanessa's attorney argued temporary emotional disturbance, but the security camera footage completely refuted that. Evidence examination and witness testimony lasted a week. In closing arguments, the prosecution sought severe sentences. The defendant's actions are unacceptable as a mother and sister. Moreover, this crime was motivated by purely selfish financial reasons. The prosecution seeks sentences of 5 years for defendant Patricia Wilson and 3 years for defendant Vanessa Wilson. Though the defense argued for leniency until the end, their claims rang hollow. On the day of sentencing, the courtroom was packed with spectators. The defendant's actions completely destroyed family bonds and cannot escape social condemnation. Judge Hamilton's voice echoed through the silent courtroom. Therefore, I sentence defendant Patricia Wilson to 5 years imprisonment and defendant Vanessa Wilson to 3 years imprisonment. Additionally, I issue a restraining order against both defendants concerning the victim. Furthermore, I order payment of $500,000 in damages. At the moment the sentence was pronounced, neither my mother nor Vanessa showed any signs of remorse. Mother glared at me, while Vanessa wore a sneer. As we left the courtroom, Eleanor embraced me. "It's over now. Let's walk into a new life with this child." Looking at my daughter's sleeping face in Michael's arms, I made a silent vow to teach her the true warmth of family. As we descended the courthouse steps, reporters had gathered. One female reporter approached me. "How do you feel about this verdict?" "I just want to live a peaceful life with my daughter." Camera flashes lit up at my words. With Eleanor's arm around my shoulders and Michael holding our daughter, we took our first step toward a new future. At the courthouse entrance, Tom waved modestly. His presence had saved our lives that day. A year has passed. In our White House in Greenwich, spring flowers are blooming in the garden. Emma's happy playing sounds echo from the nursery furnished by Restoration Hardware Baby. "Emma, it's snack time." At my call, my daughter toddles over. Her smile, like a little angel's, warms my heart. Eleanor visits 3 times a week, spending time with me and helping with childcare. Emma is very attached to her. Today too, the aroma of her homemade organic cookies wafts through the kitchen. When I see this child smile, I can forget all the painful things. I quietly nod at Eleanor's words. The memories of that day still sometimes return as nightmares. But thanks to psychological counseling and family support, I'm gradually able to look forward. Michael turned down an offer for a transfer that would have separated us, prioritizing time with his family. His gentle gesture of kissing Emma's cheek every morning before work has saved me countless times. Tom still handles our Amazon deliveries. He's become an important member of our family as an honorary grandfather. At Christmas, we visited his home as a family, letting Emma play with his 3 children. While enjoying his wife Mary's homemade turkey, Tom shyly talked about that day. The Marine Corps training really came in handy then. But I was really scared. At his honest words, Michael quietly teared up. Our neighborhood relationships have changed too. After the incident, many residents offered kind words and brought homemade meals. Especially Sandra next door visits almost weekly to check on us. Since joining her book club, I've made a circle of new friends. Meanwhile, I occasionally hear news about my mother and Vanessa in prison through reports. Mother apparently has poor relationships with other inmates and is isolated. Father filed for divorce, which I heard has been finalized. Vanessa's beauty salon went completely bankrupt, with debts apparently snowballing. Letters arrive from the 2 of them from prison, but I don't open them. Eleanor reads them instead and handles any necessary responses. Apparently, neither of them is willing to acknowledge their mistakes yet. It might take much more time before feelings of remorse take root. Eleanor's words stir complex emotions in me. But new hope has also sprouted. Just recently, I found out I'm pregnant with our 2nd child. The changes in my body I felt when Emma was 10 months old, it's going to be a boy this time. This time, we'll absolutely ensure a happy birth experience. Michael and Eleanor said in unison. At Greenwich Hospital, the same doctor from last time will be in charge again. During Emma's nap time, I quietly enter the nursery and watch my daughter's sleeping face. The Pottery Barn Kids Mobile plays gentle melodies. "Hey, Emma." I gently touch my daughter's cheek. "Because of you, I've become stronger. Your little brother, who's coming soon, will surely be a happy member of our family too." The spring sunlight streaming through the window gently illuminates Emma's sleeping face. In the garden, the roses Eleanor carefully tends are in full bloom. The doorbell rings, and I hear Tom's voice. Today too, he'll carry heavy packages into the house for me. I smile while placing a hand on my growing belly. There are no more dark shadows in this house. Only a new family story filled with warm light was about to begin. Will you tell Emma about your mother and sister someday? Michael asked gently the other day. Yes, someday I will. But not with hatred or anger, with forgiveness and understanding. By then, I need to be able to show these children the true meaning of family myself. Michael quietly nodded at my words. Eleanor also supports my resolution. Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is how you live afterward. Her words always resonate deeply in my heart. As evening falls, Michael returns from work. I'm home, my precious family. Every time I hear those words, I feel true happiness. Emma tries her best to tell her father about playing in the garden with Tom's children while in his arms. Eleanor helps prepare dinner while excitedly discussing plans for the new baby's room. I truly feel that these peaceful moments are real happiness.